The 2026 Green Bay Packers schedule is here. We are going game by game with our pal Brandon Sneide on a Sunday OT.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Thanks to everyone for being here today. We hope you like starting your day with us as much as we like starting our day with you here. And we've got the schedule, which means our pal Brandon Sneide is going to join us from the Locked On Packers Squad Show, and we are going game by game, Brandon, through this. We are going to, we got limited time. It's a Sunday OT. This is not homework. So we're gonna whip through these. I will tell you, okay. I checked, and I said on our Thursday night live show that I thought the Packers were only going to be underdogs in 4 games this season, maybe 5. It turns out it's 4: at New England, at LA, at Detroit, and at Chicago. And I will tell you, in Chicago on Christmas, they are 1.5 point underdogs, but they are minus odds on the money line, which means the odds makers see this as essentially a coin flip in Chicago. So when we try and go through this, I think that's useful information to have here. This first 4 games, I've seen some divergent opinions on this first 4 games. Just like broad strokes quickly, 3 of the first 4 on the road. What is your just like top line reaction to that part of it?
Love it. Called it on the squad show on Wednesday. Said we were talking about our predictions on how it could unfold for the Green Bay Packers. If you anticipate that you're not going to have Micah Parsons, who could likely start the season on the PUP list, we'll see where Zach Tom is. We'll see where Tucker Kraft is. If you're going to give me a 4-game stretch for the Packers, Minnesota, New York, Atlanta, Tampa, yes, absolutely on the opponents itself. But those are 3 away games. I love that because, Peter, that means more home games at the end of the year when the stakes just get a little bit tighter and a little bit more important. So I love it. I love starting on the road to begin this season for Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, and the Green Bay Packers. And for me, it was exactly what I wanted. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said I wanted all 4 on the road. But the first 3 on the road, I absolutely thought was a favor for the Green Bay Packers and to the opponents on who they're going to be when you don't have your horses yet for the Packers.
I think if you were going to take their schedule and just pick 4 games to go, here are the 4 games I'd like to not have Micah Parsons for, this is probably like, you're probably picking Minnesota, Atlanta, New York, right? Like
Carolina's probably in there. People are high on Carolina. I'm not.
I'm higher on Carolina than I think the consensus is. I think the only team you might swap in here is like, okay, Miami, or maybe that Tampa game if that were New Orleans, because then you don't have to go to the heat. Like it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot in Tampa. And
it is, but I don't want Miami and Lambeau in September. I want them exactly where they're at.
Exactly right. So that's the problem is you almost can't draw it up any better than this group of 4. I think the only swap would be New Orleans and Tampa. I think that would be the only swap that you might make, especially as they adjust. They bring in some nice pieces this offseason, New Orleans, but I don't think New Orleans is going to be very good. So I don't want to spend a ton of time here. I predicted, by the way, and said I think the best game for them to start is in Minnesota. I didn't just pick the Vikings. I said in Minnesota because you want Micah Parsons for that home game, and you want to be up. You want to start with the divisional opponent so that this team, which has a little bit of a reputation for not always being as up as you want them to be, to start the season strong. So I want to take this as a 4-group block.
Sure.
Understanding the Packers are favored in all of these games. What do you think the record is going to be coming out of this first month of the season?
3-1. I think I like the idea of Minnesota for the reason you gave, but also because is Kyler Murray going to be comfortable in that offense in week 1? That's a lot to kind of get going in week 1 with Kevin O'Connell and Kyler Murray, who I'm assuming most of us anticipate will be the starting quarterback. The Jets are just bad. They're just bad. They may win 4 or 5 games this year, maybe. So going to New York early on in the season, keep Micah, please, and probably Tucker off that field if you're Matt LaFleur and Brian Jenkins. We don't need them to come back and play in that game. I will say the bummer, and it's not a big one, but a little bit of a bummer for me, Peter, is the home opener on a Thursday night.
I hate it. I hate it.
The one thing I'm like, man, but they're going to smoke Atlanta. I don't even know who Atlanta's quarterback's going to be. I don't think
it matters. I don't think it matters.
Yeah. And I know Stefanski, and it's a new system, so we'll see if they work out the kinks by week 3. The only one for me that I have chalked up as a loss, Peter, 3-1, as I mentioned, is Tampa, because it's in Tampa and it's going to probably be 90 plus degrees.
Yeah.
And the Packers in Florida at the first chunk of the season usually don't fare well down there in the elements. It's kind of the opposite effect when Miami comes to Green Bay at the end of the year. So I have them at 3-1, the one loss coming to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I would love for that to actually come, because that sets them up very well.
Yeah, I think, as I said, they are actually favorites, minus 125 on the money line. So they are like legitimate favorites in Tampa Bay right now. But I think if we're just being, maximally charitable, the one thing I'll say is they get the mini bye for that.
Yeah.
So they get the extra days to prepare for Tampa.
Yeah.
Now, early in the season, how much does that matter? Like if they were 4-0 coming out of the stretch, would that be surprising? Like not surprising at all. They're going to be favorites in Tampa. I just think that's going to be, as you said, the weather is going to make that a brutally difficult game. I can't remember a week 5 game that is going to have as much hype as this Bears game is going to have. Yeah,
I said it before. The crowd pop in week 5, because assuming that's going to be Micah's first game coming off of the PUP, off of the torn ACL, against Ben Johnson, against Caleb Williams, against the Chicago Bears, knowing what happened at midfield last year, knowing what had transpired entirely throughout the course of last year with the Bears and what they did to the Green Bay Packers, I would anticipate you're not going to hear a louder crowd pop, maybe outside of week 1 last year when Micah was introduced to the home crowd after he was acquired from Goody and the Packers in that week 1 game, calling his name out against the Detroit Lions. But I anticipate that crowd is going to be crazy for Micah and the Green Bay Packers against Chicago Bears, which if you're a Bears fan, you're probably looking at that schedule like, of course, that's the game 5. Of course, that's week 5 for us.
Yeah. And if they do, they're going to introduce the defense for that game, right? If Micah's back, it will be like it was in week 1. And I know that there has been a reputation for Lambeau over the years. And by the way, that is a gold package game. And you and I abhor the gold package, the consternation over that. I think it is the most overrated thing ever. It's so stupid. It's people who are from the Green Bay area who just like to complain. I don't even want to dive into it. Okay. But, that first third down, remember how loud that first third down was against Detroit with Mike on the field? It's going to be like that and maybe louder. And so this has got to be a win if you're the Packers, right? It's not like easily. Your season is over if you lose, but it is a pretty big psychological blow. You have to win this game if you're the Packers against this Bears team.
Yeah, they're going to win this game. I don't think there's going to be any question about it. I know I hate, everybody knows I hate the Chicago Bears. I'm not into their hype this year either. And I'll explain a little bit later in the show for when the Packers play them later on in the year. But I just think there's going to be a little bit of regression there for the Chicago Bears. You're not going to win 7 games when you're trailing in the final 2 minutes. Those things just don't translate. I don't think their roster got better either, quite frankly.
I think their roster probably got worse.
Yeah. So it's a win for me in that week 5 matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Packers.
What about the Cowboys? Because they've got some hype too. I think this is a win. Sunday Night Football. This is when Jordan Love is at his best. This feels like a game that they score 35 points in.
Matt LaFleur is 11-4-1, Peter, in Sunday Night Football games. It's a win. So I'm not in on the Dallas Cowboys. It feels like every time they come to Green Bay, the Packers handle business. Quite frankly, it feels like when the Packers go down to Dallas outside of last year when they tied, they handle business. I think this is going to be another game where Micah's got something to prove. I think Jerry Jones hopefully says something, out of pocket, going crazy, saying something against Micah Parsons. So I think that will add extra motivation. So I have the Packers winning against the Bears, winning against the Cowboys. However, I have them losing at Detroit.
That game is just going to matter more to Detroit than it's going to Green Bay after getting swept. I think they're going to win a lot of games this year. I don't know that they're going to be a great team. I don't think this is going to be the best Lions team we've seen in the Dan Campbell era, but it's just going to mean so much to them. They're going to pull out every stop, go for it on every 4th down. I think you're right about that one. Then the short week against Carolina. They did not show up against Carolina last year. If this is going to be one of those we're taking names this season for the Packers, this has got to be a win. And on a short week against Carolina, you just have to get after Bryce Young, and this is a game you have to win.
Fortunately for the Packers, you're not traveling a ton, right? Coming from Detroit, getting ready for Carolina in that short week. I think it's a 2-score Packers win. I'm going to circle it. I'm going to say it. It's a Matt LaFleur revenge game, baby. Last year, what they did to you at home when you should have won that game.
Matt LaFleur.
Yeah. So I think the Packers easily handle business. So I only have so far 2 losses the first half of the season or so. So
6-2 heading to New England. That's going to be Tom Brady going back to New England, I think, for the first time.
Yep.
In that game. I struggle with this New England Patriots team. Like the Patriots, as of this moment, are favored for that game. By the time we get there, like, what if they're like 4-4? And I think that's on the table for them.
What if they don't know who their head coach is going?
I said the same thing on the live show. Like, are we 100% positive that Mike Vrabel is going to be coaching? I'm not
either. There's a regression for them too. I don't think they would have been in the Super Bowl had there been a healthy Bo Nix in Denver, but that doesn't matter. I have this chalked up as a loss, but this is one of the most 50-50 games for me because I would not be shocked if Green Bay goes out there and wins, but it's New England too. It's early November. It could be one of those games where it's wet.
Yeah,
there's
it's
some
25
snow, rain mix.
It's raining.
Yeah. So that's why I chalk this one up just as a loss on the surface because of a little bit of the travel. There's a time change. There's the weather factor.
Yeah.
Obviously, Drake May can be a really good quarterback. We'll see what else they build around him. A.J. Brown potentially could be in the mix there in New England. But again, you don't know who their head coach is going to be. That's going to be a distraction if he's there all year long.
All right. So do you have the Packers heading into the bye 7-3, I assume then?
Correct. Yep.
So would that feel bad?
No, God, no. I that'd be awesome. That would be exact. Especially Peter, you say 7-3 in the first 4 weeks. You don't have arguably the best player in all the NFL, right? Certainly on the defensive side, Myles Garrett's in that conversation. But we'll see where Tucker Kraft is and Zach Tom is as well. But if you tell me 7-3 and Micah Parsons missed at least 4 of those games, easily take that. I will sign up right now for that.
All right. Well, let's dig into the rest of the schedule coming up on a Sunday OT. The NBA playoffs are here and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. You can check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more informed. Whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it adds another level of excitement to every game. Plus, it's an app that's easy to navigate, and it makes playoff basketball even more engaging from start to finish. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, that's a job for Sponsored Jobs. Indeed, Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who actually check the boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get $75 in sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire. That's a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. We come out of the break. The Packers come out of the break. And the NFL set this up smartly, Brandon, because I think anytime you ask a team to play on a Wednesday, you got to give them a bye the week before. Like, it would be shenanigans to ask them to play on a Sunday to a Wednesday. I could see, like late in the year when they start the Saturday games, you could go Saturday to Wednesday because that would be like Sunday to Thursday. But this is going to be this is probably going to be the most watched Netflix game ever. And you could have two teams that feel like they're the best two teams in the NFC for this one. I think we have to chalk this one up as a loss for the Packers, but like Matt LaFleur has never lost to Sean McVay in his NFL coaching career as a head coach. So this could be one of those games where you coming off the bye, you go to LA and get a statement win and you announce yourself as a real NFC, like legit. We are actually the team to beat, not LA.
I love how the schedule falls for the Packers. Certainly this part of the schedule, right? They have 2 games in a 26-day span, Peter, this being one of them. So they should be well rested. They should be ready to go. Maybe I'm being way too optimistic. I don't buy that the Rams. I think they're a good team. I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were last year. That is a nasty division. They are going to beat up on each other. Let's see who's there for the Rams come at the end of November.
Let's see who's playing quarterback. Is it going to be the 38-year-old with back problems?
Correct. And I love that the NFL didn't take 2 holidays from us, right? We get the day before Thanksgiving. So I like that for us. But I think this has always been a Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love type thing. Like, they just get up for these big games, these standalone games, these prime time games. I mentioned LaFleur's record on Sunday Night Football. This is not Sunday Night Football, but it essentially kind of is. I think they're going to go to LA and win. And let's not forget, this is essentially a home game for the Packers, right? They got to travel, they got to get on the flight, they got to land, they got to get into a hotel. That is going to be a 60-40, 65-35 crowd.
It was like, it might have been 70-30 when I was there. Because I was there in 2024, and I was talking to a longtime media person there, someone who's been in LA sports for 40 years. And I know SoFi is a new crowd, a new stadium. But when Tucker Kraft scored, he told me after the game, I have never heard a road team get a pop like that in this stadium.
Wow.
So, I mean, and there were a ton of Packers jerseys at SoFi that day. So I do wonder if the holiday blunts that a little bit, that people are like, I'd really like to go to that game, but
it helps them go to that game.
Well, it could be that it helps because it's a holiday. And so
right.
you don't actually have to take additional time off. You could just, that Wednesday, some people have half days, like those kinds of things. You could just take a half day or whatever it is. Okay, so then they go to New Orleans. So that's a dub for you.
That's a dub. Yeah, I know.
I love it.
I know I'm the plant. That's a dub for me, though.
No, I love it because 2021, that was the game where I point to and I say that was the best team in the NFL. The Packers beat the eventual Super Bowl champions in convincing fashion at Lambeau Field. And Matt LaFleur, just like for whatever mental block he has against Kyle Shanahan, he plays so free against Sean McVay. He seems to have such great game plans for those games. I don't know what it is, but he does not feel like Sean McVay's little brother in the way that he does kind of feel like Kyle Shanahan's little brother.
And the confidence, right? They got to go in there with confidence, knowing that, knock on wood, they haven't lost against a Sean McVay LA Rams led team. So that to me speaks volumes.
And this Packers team is built on speed. That SoFi Stadium turf, like I think they are a faster team than LA. Especially on offense. And so that could play into their favor here too. Okay, you go to New Orleans now in December. This would be another fun game to go to. It'll be nicer weather in New Orleans, certainly, than in Wisconsin. I already have heard from folks in the Everydayer Club that are like, I already have my tickets booked to New Orleans for this one. This has got to be a win.
Oh, yeah. This is the win. You talk about going to a dome and playing fast, right? I said it, and I got ridiculed for it, but I said that this Matt LaFleur version of the Packers, they're just better indoors, man. They're just built. That offense is just built to be better indoors. And then you add in Micah Parsons on that turf, like the speed on the defensive side as well with Edgerrin Cooper, obviously with Micah Parsons, my guy Barron Sorrell's coming through this year. So yeah, this is a win for me. Only I think the second noon game they have, or one of the 2 noon games they have on the year. So yeah, I got them winning against.
They've got Tampa at noon, they've got Minnesota at noon, and then they've got New Orleans. So it'll be their 3rd noon game.
Oh, 3rd, okay. Yeah, I got that as a win for the Green Bay Packers.
And there's probably only one other one that they're going to have, and that's the Dolphins game, which is coming up here in 2 weeks. So the Buffalo one is tricky for me. I think if they drop a home game, it is weird to say, but I think it's going to be one of these AFC teams. Mm-hmm. And I think to me, even though I don't think the Houston Texans are probably, I think, a better team than Buffalo, but I think if they drop one of these games, this is the one for me where I go, Josh Allen in the elements. He's not going to be deterred by it. They're kind of built for this with their running game. This would be the one home game where I'd be most worried if I'm the Green Bay Packers.
It is one of these games too where I look at it and I kind of look at where I was with the Patriots. Like, wouldn't be shocked if they won, and it wouldn't be shocked if they lost, right? I could see both happening. I do have this chalked up as a loss for the Packers. I think Buffalo, obviously with Josh Allen is just
this is the way the season can go too. If you steal one of those games on the road that you're theoretically supposed to lose, like you're supposed to lose in New England, you're supposed to lose in LA, steal one, and now you can afford, not that you want to, but you can afford to lose a home game. Especially you go in and beat LA, you can lose an AFC game to the Bills. Like, you were supposed to lose the Rams game, you didn't, and now you take this home L, and now you can get right the next week with Miami. I assume you have a win chalked up against Malik Willis and Jeff Hafley against what is probably going to be the worst or second worst team in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a win, especially in Lambeau on December 20th. Yes, like we remember that team. I know it's a different team. Mike McDaniel's not there. I know Tua's not there, but remember them a couple of years ago at Thanksgiving in Lambeau Field. They wanted nothing to do with the elements in Green Bay. So I think Malik Willis is better suited for the elements, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think the Packers roll on that one.
All right, we're gonna skip Christmas game. Talk to me about Houston.
Oh, that's a win.
I agree.
If
I think it's going to be like a 16-10 kind of win.
Yeah, it could be.
But I watched CJ Stroud in the playoff game against New England in bad weather. Brandon, it's going to be January 4th at night for this Houston team. They're not going to score 17 points in this game. I don't see it.
No, and I trust the Packers offense, even though that's a really good defense for Houston. I trust the Packers offense to be able to outscore. And we'll see. I'm optimistic about this Packer defense with Jonathan Gannon. Obviously, we're getting Micah Parsons back as well. Some other guys taking elevated roles. You will go out and get Zaire Franklin. Edgerrin Cooper is going to take a next step, I hope. I have the Packers winning against Houston. If they lose this game to Houston on January 4th at night, I'll do the squad show outside in the snow. I don't see it happening.
I think especially with this style of defense, the Jonathan Gannon defense, this is a Texans team that on early downs has not been efficient. They rely on CJ Stroud magic on 3rd and 8. And I just don't think that's going to be a sustainable way to win in Lambeau. I don't think they're going to be efficient enough. All right, let's circle back to Christmas in Chicago. If you're the Bears, you have to win that game if you lost at Lambeau Field. But again, they are 1.5 point favorites, and the Packers are minus odds on the money line for this Christmas game. So what do you got?
I do. I hate saying it. I just think the Packers drop this one because I think they're going to get up. It's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster. You're going to get up really high for the Bills and the Dolphins. It's an emotional game against the Dolphins. I think they come down a little bit. It's a short week for the Green Bay Packers. There's not a ton of travel there, obviously going from Lambeau to Chicago, short plane trip for the Packers, but I do think that they split. I think they split the divisional games outside of Minnesota. I think they handle Minnesota, but I think they split with Detroit. I think they split with Chicago as well. And I hate to say it, but I do think the Packers lose at Soldier Field. That's probably going to be their Super Bowl of this season because I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year.
No, I mean, that could be a game where you get to 8 wins or something if you're the Bears and you're like, okay, we're going to have a shot at the playoffs in week 17, week 18. And that's setting up a week 18 game that could be for the NFC North. Like, I really think the Lions schedule outside of the division is cake. And so that could be the kind of game where if you can get to, based on the scheduling that we've done by my math, Brandon, like they're sitting at 12 wins already if you're the Packers going into this last game.
Yeah, I think they win against Detroit because I don't trust Jared Goff in the cold. And I know he came into Lambeau Field in 2022 against Aaron Rodgers in his last year in Green Bay and put up some gaudy numbers, but I just don't see the Detroit Lions coming in. Now, this all could change, right? That's a weird week because seeding could already be figured out, right? Like the Packers may already have clinched the NFC North, or the Lions may have already clinched the NFC North. So it's tough to predict that game. But if both teams are coming in this with the same record, and this is for the NFC North, I don't think that the Green Bay Packers leave Lambeau Field without a victory against the Detroit Lions in week 18.
The only question I would have relative to like the seeding being figured out is, let's say they've clinched the division. Let's just say if they've beaten the Rams, it seems unlikely to me that this game would mean nothing to the Packers from a seeding standpoint. Like, I don't think they care 2 versus 3, but if they beat the Rams in LA, this could legitimately, like you're talking about, if they get to 13 wins, I have to assume the 1 seed would be in play for them in this last game.
Yeah, no, it absolutely could. And if that's the case, that even gives me more incentive to think that the Packers are going to go in there and beat the Detroit Lions. I think this is a prove it year. This is a big year, man. I think Matt LaFleur has a lot of games he can circle. If they drop an egg this season, like, then obviously you probably have to move on from that point forward. But this is a big year, a big chip on the shoulder. We've heard from Javon Bullard. We've heard from Evan Williams. We've heard from these guys on the roster, Peter, that they didn't forget how that season ended a year ago at Soldier Field. There's a lot at stake this year for everybody involved. That includes Matt LaFleur, and that includes Jordan Love. He's got to take the next step. I believe he will. I think the schedule for the Packers overall, it folded out pretty well for them.
So 13-4 is your prediction for your Green Bay Packers in 2026. And I find it hard to believe that would not be, it's certainly a top 2 seed. I can't imagine, the Eagles or someone like the Eagle. I don't know about the Eagles this year, man. Like
they don't even want their quarterback.
Definitely that. This is like, if that happens, if they're sitting there 13-4, is Jordan Love going to be the MVP?
Well, we were at 9-3-1 last year, and he was the third on favorite to win that award.
If the Packers go 13-4, he finishes top 3 for MVP.
Yeah,
probably, no doubt, right?
And then you could probably circle Micah, defensive player of the year, potentially.
I like it, Brandon. I appreciate the time as always, my friend. Everyone listening, thank you for being here. Thanks for making the Packers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, join the Everydayer Club. You get ad-free episodes of Locked On Packers. Plus, you join the group chat. We program our Friday News Dump live show around your questions. So get in there. The conversation is always sparkling, crackling. We're having fun. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And as always, stay Locked On Packers.